Hello, everyone, and welcome to my talk. My name is Francisco. I've been working as a software developer here in Odoo for almost 4 years now. And today we're going to be talking about how we can get real-time updates in Odoo using the Odoo bus. Here you have a link with the path where you can ask your question, and I'll try to answer them at the end of the talk. Also, I'll be showing some code, but at the end also we'll share a link to the repository with the code, so don't worry about that. First, some motivation. Why would we want to have real-time updates? There are many reasons why we want that, but some of them could be because we want to have a better user experience for the user. We may want to give them the data for them without to need to refresh. Maybe because the data that we are treating with requires some urgency, maybe some collaborative data, for example, spreadsheets here in Odoo. There's many more reasons. I'm sure you will find your own reasons to use this. And how can we do this? With the Odoo bus. What is exactly the Odoo bus? So, in short words, it's Odoo's communication service. And for us, the part that interests us is going to be our way of starting a communication from the server to the client. Just a note that it works with WebSockets under the hood. And the main aim of the Odoo bus is to provide a simple developer experience. Because if you have ever worked with WebSockets, you may know that it's not very easy to work with them. So that's why we developed the Odoo bus. Here I'm going to display a little example of how we could start this communication from the backend. We have a method in the bus model, send one. In this method, we have to say, OK, we want to send these messages in this channel. We have to say what's the notification type, and we have to specify the content of our message. A simile that I like to compare with is with the radio. You could think about the channel as the frequency that we are tuning. The event could be the program that you want to listen to, and the message would be the content itself. So keeping this in mind, in the front end, we will have usually the bus service available in the environment. And we're going to have to tell to all, OK, I want to listen to this channel. And in this channel, when I'm listening to this event, I want to react in a certain way. Like, for example, here, the callback is just to display in the console what we get. And what if I tell you that actually most of you have already used the bus service, the Odoo bus? So here we have a classical example. Something happens in the server. We want to send a message to the client, and we want to send them a pop-up, like a notification. This probably you have copy-pasted it many times without thinking too much about it, but this is exactly what I was showing you before. The only difference that you see here is that the channel is a record instead of a string. We will talk more about that later on the talk, but same, OK? We have the channel, we have the event, and we have the content of the message. Just with this, I'm already going to show you some code of how we can do this. First, I want to show you what is that we're going to do. So I created for this demo a small sale dashboard that is telling how many sales we did today and what is the last sale order that we had. So as you see here, I'm logged in with Michel admin. If I come here with a Mark demo and I create some sale orders, blazing fast with Odoo. You can see here, it just gets updated immediately. No need to refresh or to do anything. 23 sales, and the last one, 23. Yeah, there we go. And here, first, I want to show you how we are sending the message from the server. As I was saying, in the create method in this case, we're going to send a message in the bus saying, OK, this is going to be your channel, the sale dashboard. The notification type is sale order update, and here is the content or on message, OK? Also here I have a method that we can use to initiate the OR component. Also here, You can see I'm using a widget, a small widget that I use for this. And here, this is our widget. As I was saying in the setup, for example, you could say, okay, when it's starting, we're going to call this method I was mentioning before, and then this is the part that is interesting for us. We're going to add the channel. We are saying to the client, okay, we want to listen in this channel, and when we receive this event, we want to do this. And in this case, what we want is to update the state, and this will display directly here. Okay. So very easy, no? That's it? Well, no, because we have to talk about some things first. First point I want to make is about security. Something that you have may noticed is that the user that was in the environment when we were sending the data is not the same user that was receiving the data. In our case, was like Mark Demo was sending the data, Mitchell Admin was receiving it. So of course, this user can have different access rights, different record rules. So we have to be careful about the data that we're sending in the bus. But there is an even bigger problem that is actually this channel that we added. Any user that has access to our Odoo instance can request to listen to it. So we have to think about this data that we sent there at broadcasted data. Okay, so we have to be careful with not sending sensitive data over these type of channels. But we can get private channels, of course. To do that, we need to make the name of the channel either not guessable, or we could do this using hashes or tokens or whatever, or we can use what I like to call the bus listener mixin plus bus channel list approach. This we do in Odoo for many models, for example, for the users, the groups, the spreadsheet, and we're going to see later on the talk how we can achieve this ourselves in our own models. Also, before someone thinks about it, like using a different, complicated way of naming the channel is not a valid security measure, because if it's guessable somehow, people will figure out. So that's not good. Okay. For the previous example, we could also use directly the bus send method in the user. The user, as I mentioned, implements the bus listener mixin, and as you see, the difference here is that we are not specifying the channel. We're just saying the notification type and the content. Previous example is equivalent to this. Okay, there's nothing wrong with the previous example in this case, because the channel, when we specify a record as a channel, we will see how we can do that. But those channels are private, so don't worry about that. It's just like this is the new way of doing it now. As you can see, as you can imagine, this is sending the message only to the current user. Well, so let's see how we can apply this in our code. First, I'm going to show you something. So one thing we can do is simply not send sensitive data. Like, for example, maybe I don't care that everyone knows that I created new sale orders, but I don't want people to know how many sale orders I created or what was the last name of the last sale order. So I could do something like this. So I'm sending data that for me is public, so I don't care, like people are receiving it. And then the difference is going to be that in my component, when I receive the data, because I don't have anything there, what I'm going to do is like, again, fetch the data. This is going to go through the regular ORM call, and then the access right, record rules, and so on are going to be applied. That could be one option. Another option could be using one of Odoo's models that implements this. Let me update in the meantime. That implements this mixin. So, for example, here, what we could do is create a new group. And what I'm going to do is when there is a new order created, instead of sending for everyone as we were doing before, we are sending only to this group. And as you can imagine, then this notification is only going to be sent to people that belong to this group. So if now I come here, if I come here in this dashboard, if I update something, so the last one is 25, it doesn't get updated because Mitchell admin is not in that group. But if I add it, developer mode, if we add it, we should be able to get the message. Oh, 24. Did I add it? Maybe problems of the life. Let's see. 25. Okay, not sure why it's not working now. Let's imagine that it works. And also another thing important, here as you can see, for the groups, the users and so on, I don't have to specify add this channel because I know that Odoo already did it for me. Now, let me show you something else. And now let's talk about how we can implement this bus listener mixin and how we can create this record channel list. Well, of course, we have to inherit this mixin. This mixin is actually very simple. It only has two methods. The bus send that we were seeing before, where we're going to have to only say notification tip at the message. We don't care about the channel because the channel is going to be given by the bus channel. So for example, in the user model, the bus channel method we're going to override is going to be self.partnerID. That's why it's equivalent to the previous example also, but most of the times we don't even want to override this because the bus channel is going to be our own record. And in the build bus channel list on the WebSocket model, this is where we're going to really create the record channel. This is what is going to allow us to specify, okay, this record is the channel, and it's going to allow us to create these private channels. In the channels parameter, we're going to receive all the channels that the user, the client, has requested to listen to. And then we're going to do something like, okay, I have to recognize my channels. So we will see how we can use a channel name that we can recognize. I will extract my record from the channel name itself. And then if everything goes well, I will add the record to the channel list. In the front end, it's going to stay the same. The only thing we have to keep in mind is that the name pattern has to be recognizable, as I've said. This is an example. It doesn't have to be the model and the ID. It could be something else, but this is the examples that we're going to use. So I'm going to show you how we can do that. For this, I created another model. Another module, sorry. Forgot to change. So it's going to be a collaborative clicker. We are going to create different clicker games. There's going to be different people clicking on it, and everyone's going to get the updates, okay? The good one. Let's see. It's loaded, yes. Time. So we can create our games. Whatever, game. And now when we are in one of these games, here I'm with the Mitchell admin. I come here also with Mark Demo, and you can see I'm updating these values here, doing different things, and here, oops, here should be appearing. Let me see, 1 second. Sometimes I think we are not getting the channel list, so just let me log out and log in again, because sometimes the channel list doesn't get revealed unless we do that. Nope. Okay, let me relaunch the server just to make sure. Okay, I think now we're getting it. Yes, okay. So we can see here, we click one, appears in the other way around also. How are we doing this? As I was mentioning before, here in on Mother First, what I did is I'm inheriting this listener mixin, this bus listener mixin, and when there's some modification in the records, I send a message that is saying, okay, the game has been updated, and this is the data that I want to send this notification event. Here, as I was saying before, this is a private channel, so we can send whatever we want. Only the people that we allow to will be able to access this data. In the front end, I'm going to show you first in the front end. We have, as before, a simple widget in our view. And what we're going to do is, well, I also improved a little bit the fact that when the component is destroyed, we also stop listening to the channel because we don't care anymore. But this is the part that we care about. We are going to say, okay, we're going to send the model and the ID of the record, and that's going to be our channel name. And same as before, we add the channel, and then we say when this happens, we're going to react, modifying the state, right, of our component. Also, small thing that I wanted to say about this is when we are subscribing to some event, is for all the channels that we are subscribed to, okay? So for all the channels that we have in the bus service, you subscribe, you don't have to specify it's for this channel. That's why we want to delete the channel when we're done with the component, because we don't want them going in another game and then receiving the messages from this channel and getting it updated here, okay? Here in the channel list method, well, first thing I did is check that the user is logged in, because otherwise they cannot access our model. So first check. And then this part here would be what I was saying before, identify our channel. In our case, because I know our model is called clicker game, so it's going to be channels that start like that. And here we're going to parse the RSID, get this record, and this part here is the important thing here. We only allow some users to access our channel, not everyone. So if they don't have like a read access, for example, for a game, we're going to say, okay, you cannot listen to a record. Otherwise, we return the record, and then we add it to the channels, and this is what then allow us to send the message through the Odoo bus saying that the record is a channel. Okay? So that's it here. That's what I wanted to show you here. Also, I wanted to mention all this code I showed you before it's not perfect. It's just a starting point. It's a way of doing it. The thing is not the only way that you could do real-time updates. But if you have to do your real-time updates, I think it's a good starting point. And I wanted to do also a quick recap of what is that we saw today. We only saw 3 things, very simple. We saw what's the Odoo bus and how we can use it with this like easy example of a public channel. We talk a little bit about security, about sensitive data, broadcasted channel versus private channels. And we saw finally how we can implement these private channels using the bus listener mixin record private channel approach. And that's all on my side. Thank you very much for coming to my talk.
Very nice talk.
Thank you.
Now we know all about the bus.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of questions about the bus.
Good.
So the first question, let's go through them. The first question is, does this work with external APIs as well? Do we need socket.io?
So with the external API, I'm not sure what they mean there, but in this case, we are doing the communication channel is going to be between the Odoo server and the client. So I'm not sure the external API there what you mean. If you want to send from the client some message to external API, you could do so, yes, but I'm not sure I understand the question there.
I don't have any more context, but maybe is there a way to trigger real-time updates with external APIs?
Okay, so yes, you could, because as you saw here in the code, what we are doing, for example, if we go here, we're just calling to this method. So what you could do is have some public method. For example, this one is perfectly fine to call this one from the API. And if we are doing something like this, then there you go. You're sending a message through the API.
Real-time updates.
Yes.
Perfect. The second question is, what is the limit of the data size for a bus communication?
Oof, that, sincerely, I don't know. But I'm not sure, but it should be quite good. I've been using it for a while and sent like a very big objects and never had an issue with that. So I think you're fine. Not sure what's the limit.
Cool. Thank you very much again. This one was concerning the security aspect of it, I think.
Yes.
The question is, then there is no endpoint to get a list of channels. I think it was when you were referring using a name that you can't guess. Is there an endpoint to get the list of channels?
So no, there is not an endpoint to get a list of channels, because this method that I was showing you before, these are the channels that the client is requesting to listen to. But maybe they're requesting to listen to a channel that we never use and we don't care about. So not really. Like the closest thing you have is you could put a breakpoint here, and then when entering with your user, you can see what's the channels that you're returning to that particular user. But no, there's no other way of knowing all the channels.
Cool. Different question. OdooDB could have many modules. What are ways to prevent channel collision, channel name collision? I think you showed one model.resID, for example, as a naming convention.
Yeah, I mean, if you use something like this, like the model and then the ID, for sure you're not going to have channel collisions. But there is no way, like there is not a way they can say, yeah, just do this and it never happens. Just try to use a name that makes sense with the record that you're dealing with, and then you should not have collisions.
Cool. A bit of a more technical question.
Yeah.
What if we have a page like a Kanban board, and each of the models, represented by the cards, has the mixin? Will it scale?
So it should be quite efficient. I don't know what's the theoretical limit right now for WebSockets connection, but that actually will be for concurrent people connected to the database. But actually, in Odoo, there is only one WebSocket connection, and we are sending all the messages through that one. So I think it should be good. You can send a lot of data through the WebSocket connection. You're fine with that.
The next question is related. How scalable is this? The upper limit of listeners. What are the limits of the event bus?
So I think the biggest limitation you could have is how many concurrent users are listening to you, because like each user in a different computer will mean like a WebSocket connection. Not sure what's the theoretical limit right now. We can check, but I think it's quite high. Limit WebSocket connections, 2 million. Well, here some people are saying 5,000 to 10,000. So maybe if you have more than 10,000 concurrent users, you can start having issues. But I think for most people should be enough.
Cool, thank you. And then, can the client be a mobile app?
Yes.
Yes.
It's a browser. You can have WebSocket connection to a browser in an app in the phone without issue. And also you can see that as I was mentioning, the Odoo standard also used this everywhere. So if it works for the notification, if it works for the spreadsheets and everything there, it will also work for your custom code.
How this is linked to the first question of can the client be a mobile app? How do we identify users?
How do we identify users?
Yeah.
So generally, if I mean, I guess they're talking about this part here. So you will have self-env, well, normally in the user. So this could be the current user in the moment of execution. I don't know if that's what they mean. But you don't have to worry about that because this user is spread through the call stack. So you just have to check your access as usually you will do in any other part in Odoo.
Cool, thank you. And then our more technical question again, are there plans of using SSE instead of WebSockets?
Not that I'm aware of. But for that, maybe you can ask the R&D team because I'm just telling you how you can use it, but not developing the WebSocket connection.
And then maybe one last question, can we use it in a live chat app in Odoo?
Yes, of course, you could use it. And if I'm not mistaken, the live, like the chat app in Odoo also uses the Odoo bus, if I'm not mistaken. So yes, you could.
And then the last one is, I guess, kind of a funny question. Will you present a new game next year like you did last year?
If a lot of people leave a star in the repository, maybe maybe I do.
Thank you very much, Francisco.
Thank you.
It was a very good talk. Thank you.
Thank you.